get complicated. We welcome our first presenter of this afternoon, Hector Acevedo from the CITUM Academy. CITUM Academy, he's going to be speaking about neurosciences and cybersecurity, the traps in our mind. Welcome and thanks for being here with us. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I think it is the worst time of the day when you're digesting and sleeping. I hope no one is falling asleep, and that is going to be good enough for me. We're going to start with this. Does the clicker work? Yes, it does work. I will very quickly give you my information in case you want to talk to me, complaints, questions, suggestions, and I also would like to tell you that I do publishing work for Magazine. There you have my website. First of all, how am I going to be presenting? This warning is very important. This is not a highly technical presentation, and it is going to be like a trip get to meet 15 cities in Europe in 12 days. The other thing is that you and go to 3 hours in the Tour Eiffel and look for a few hours, 15 minutes to have a photograph in the Arc of Triumph. This is what this presentation is all about. My idea is to invite you to get to know little pieces of this topic so that you can learn more. Of course, I am available if you need bibliography, references, or additional talks. Something important is that I will be speaking about the trend in neurosciences. This is our scientific truth today, but as every other, it can be doubtful. Maybe in 10 years, I will be here and telling you, remember that all the nonsense that I told you in the year 2015? I hope it doesn't happen, but it could happen. Now, what is the agenda? I will be giving you very quick background information, and then we're going to be speaking about social engineering so that we can warm up our engines, and then the core of the presentation and how does human mind work, and then we're going to make an example of how social hackers use this, and then some final notes. Let's start. Do you know that we live in a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous? This is the world we are living, and lots of people are speaking about this in presentations. I would also say that we live in a hyper-connected world. When I was a child, what happened in China? We are not interested. And today, what happens to China could affect us even today, in a matter of minutes. So this is a world we're living today, a world where cybercrime is something that happens every day. Please raise your hand and tell me who has been victim of cybercrime or who knows someone firsthand with an account hacked and something is stolen. Would you please raise your hand? If you see, it is most of us. And 6 or 7 years ago, it was 20% of the people. So cybercrime is one of those things we're very, very interested about in this VUCA world. And cybercrime has to do a lot with social engineering. Social engineering we have all listened about, which is the art to influence in others. The negative meaning of social engineering is to influence someone to get information about that person's credit card, to be invited to have lunch, or to get sensitive information, and to be in computers seeing things I should not be seeing. And sometimes it is the art of tricking people. And social engineering is very important today in cybersecurity. I work in cybersecurity because humans, and many say that we are the weakest link in the cybersecurity world, and precisely because we are subject to social engineering. The social engineering that in general has this process. I will do research of the victim, and then I will take money information This is the general process of all the social engineers, and it is not only a hacker with a supercomputer. It is a person who is wandering in the city with the little balls and glasses. He is doing social engineering. Remember, I will be speaking about cybersecurity, but what I will be saying applies to everything. And in cybersecurity, we're very interested in social engineering. As you can see in this cartoon that I've been sharing many years, we have IT, cybersecurity, investing billions of dollars in equipment, in people, in processes, and on the other hand, we have Dave, which is a human error. Who is going to win almost always? 9 out of every 10 times, David wins. And Dave is not, please look at this. It is not the lady in accounting, and it is not the lady in marketing or the man who is in marketing. Dave can be the world as cybersecurity director for a large company. If you are a human being, you are prone to social engineering. It doesn't matter what is your color, where you go to school, and whether you are poor or as long as you're Homo sapiens, you can be subject to social engineering. Why are we subject to social engineering? Because of the way our mind works. And this is precisely what we're going to be seeing. If I ask you, where do you think most of the people are? One, as you can see, most of our decisions are made from the emotional aspect. 5 is what we love to show off. I am very rational. I think everything. I rationalize and then I decide who is going to vote for one. One. Two. Who is going to vote for two? For three. 4. 5. And neuroscientists say, and this will have some hues, but I want to say it like this because I want this to be shocking. As neuroscientists, I say that we spend more time in 1 and 2 than 3, 4, and 5. The difference is when we decide quickly, when we decide under stressful conditions, or when we are facing a very emergency urgent situation. If I come to very quick decisions, surely I will be making my decision close to 1. It is going to be my emotions. It is not going to be my rational thinking, the one deciding or choosing. Frequently, I ask yourselves to ask yourself: do we own our decisions? Did we buy that red soft drink because we really like it, or because there was nothing else, or because I recall a commercial? We have a little apple. Is it because I decided so? I do not know. Many decisions are not totally ours, and what is even worse or fun, it depends on your perspective. Do we always decide the best? It doesn't matter if someone else influenced or if I made the decision. But is it the best? Well, many times in stressful situations, in emergency situations, for example, so when we are running or in a haste, normally we are not that good to make decisions. Surely, lots of people have seen this. It is an optical illusion, and the vertical table and the horizontal table, they have the same distance and they measure the same. But most of the people, when they look at it, now that you are looking at it, one part of your brain says that the vertical table is longer. Do you agree? And I can show you it is not true with this or with 2 arrows measuring the same. Or if someone is here, I would invite someone to take measure, and they will be exactly the same size. Well, I already told you they measure the same, but if I go back, most of you are still fighting, and you are wondering, one is bigger. Well, this is how our mind works. Our our thinking process will not always overcome our first impressions. And this is precisely what I will be speaking about. A very quick example of actual life, real life. What you see in the screen is how many people in different European countries, when asking for a driver's license, they decided to be part of a program to do organ donation. And if you see the first line, if you see the first blue line and the last yellow one, you're going to see Austria and Germany, two countries with that are very similar. They speak the same language. They have more or less the same social level. They've been part of the same state nation several times during history. They are very similar. Austrian people are almost German, and German people are almost Austrian people. But you can see that in Austria, almost all people said yes, I want to be a donor, and in Germany, almost no one. And we can make the analysis with many countries with many explanations, and no one knew why. Why the difference? And the difference when the neuroscience was analyzed, when a neuroscience analysis was made, where do you think the difference was in the questionnaire, in the questionnaire? In some questions, this was the type of question. Check mark if you want to be included. In other countries, the question was, or the statement was, check mark if you do not want to be included. And organ donation is something very important for human beings. It has to do with philosophical aspects and even religious aspects. And the truth is that in Europe, organ donation programs from licensed drivers. Driver's license is not the decision of people. It is the decision of those who make the questionnaire. If I change the question, I will be changing most of the answers. So who is going to be decided? You or me deciding? It is the second answer. The second answer. And there are many ways. Popcorn are designed to not sell. The medium-sized popcorn are designed for not to sell. They are designed to push the sale of the bigger size, because it is a trick by our brain. There are many internet papers on this. Look for it. And Daniel Kahneman to tell you how important this is. Daniel Kahneman, he was the economy Nobel Prize winner, and he's a psychologist. Why do you think he won the economy or a Nobel Prize? Because he showed that the economic decisions worldwide by the International Monetary Fund, by the European Central Bank, by the U.S. Federal Reserve, we believe that their decisions are very rational and under analysis. And Kahneman showed that whenever there is an emergency, most of the decisions by those institutions are emotional decisions. So I hope everything is now clear to you, that we have a wonderful mind, but there are ups and downs. And speaking about cybersecurity, those who do cybersecurity, we know that the phishing of these fake emails are constantly playing against us. And it is because hackers do social engineering based on how our mind works. So what is behind this? Very quickly, we will tell you what is behind this. Here we have how our mind works. I will not read the whole text. It will be pretty boring. I will rather send you this information, but our brain and our bodies are missing and need more bandwidth. You do not see all the colors, do you? Do you see infrared? Do you see infrared? Do you see ultraviolet? Then our sensors, to call them like this, they do not see what is out there. This is the first problem. And the second problem is that our sensors cannot transfer all the information to the brain. So out there are many, many colors. My eyes see only one part of those colors, but only a tiny part will be sent to the brain. Why? Because we do not have enough power, computing power, to process everything. I will be walking. Do you see me walking? You see how I actively walk, and it doesn't happen. The only thing you are doing, because you are human beings, is to take photographs of me in different moments. And he saw me here, and then his brain and his body has many other things to do, and he cannot pay attention, and he misses this movement, and then he sees when I am here, and then he's going to see me when I am here. and his brain is rebuilding this movie. But he hasn't seen me all the time. This is why magicians make tricks. What happens if I am capable of changing my clothes in less than half a second? Then the person is going to see me here, and I will change my dress here. And then when he sees me here, I will be dressed differently. And that is going to be the face. What happened? Because he believes that it's a continuous reality. Very important idea. Human beings do not see the reality. We'll interpret reality because we do not have a bandwidth and because of the evolution of our mind, of our brain. Our brain, what you see here is a model. And remember, a model is not a reality. It explains chunks of reality. What I really like you to understand is that we have an emotional aspect and we also have the rational aspect. And because of long reasons that I will not be able to explain to you now, always, 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 our emotions activate first and our thoughts will activate later because our rational part is very young in evolution terms because our rational part spends lots of energy. And at the end of the day, we are animals and animals do not want to spend energy. Animal mechanisms make us spend as less energy as possible. And since emotions spend less energy, these are the ones that activate first. This is why I said if you decide fast, if you decide from stress, from emotion, from emergency, you're going to be deciding from the emotion, and your emotions will win. And then you're going to ask yourself, why did I take that decision? Why did I make that decision? Our thoughts then should make it to the party. Otherwise, you will be living emotions only. Summary. Give time to your thoughts to wake up and to make it to the fun time. The advice by our grandmothers when you have to make an important decision, do not make decisions upset or emotional. And count till 10 before you decide. And this is why emotions will be less and your cognitive process is going to make it to the party, as I call it, and then you will be able to decide, if not completely with cognitive thinking, but at least being part of it. This is very important. Our emotions, we are very emotional beings, and our mind has many additional mechanisms, and I will be very quickly speaking about two more. One is paradigms. Paradigms or mental patterns, which are ways to see the world. For example, someone sees a cat, and that cat can mean different things to different people. Paradigms come from others. No one ever taught you paradigm in tech. There's no class on paradigms. Your mom didn't sit you one day and tell you, look, come, I will explain to you the paradigms of our family. So we have family paradigms, our social class paradigms, our profession paradigms, our city, our country paradigms, and we learn paradigms from others when we spend time with others in Mexico and in some Latin American countries. When someone gets sick and they are hospitalized, many of the family members are going to be with him 24 hours, even if it is the most comfortable hospital in the world with suites, or if it is a very poor hospital. People will be sleeping in the sidewalk. There they are. And no one told those children, when your grandfather dies or gets sick, you have to be there. Why do we do it? Because this is what we saw. But if you talk to a Norwegian person, the person is going to say, what happens to you? Why do you do that? Because that person doesn't have this paradigm. Paradigms are important because if I know your paradigms, I can play with you because I know how you are going to react from your paradigms. The last thing I will be presenting to you is cognitive bias. It is something very common because of the biased AI, but pay attention, it is different. A human cognitive bias is different than an AI bias. A cognitive bias is a process, automatic process that is recorded in our genes because it was good for human species for many, 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 but many generations. And it is now recorded in our genes, imprinted in our genes. But then, none of you is designed for this world. None of you. No one is designed to be a lawyer. No one is designed to be a cybersecurity expert. No one is designed to be a teacher. No one. You are all designed to be hunters, collectors, and to do something similar to this African wild. If you have a supercar and if you take it to a rocky road, even if it is a supercar, it will suffer. This is what we do to our people. So paradigms are designed for other things, and this is why with paradigms we act in a not very rational way. There are many, many, many paradigms in that slide. You see some examples of paradigms. Those have been widely studied, and in cybersecurity, there are complete and long courses on paradigms. I will just give you a quick example. The halo effect. Have you ever heard about the halo effect? Halo effect. I hate it because I am not a good looking person. The halo effect, among others, is the one responsible for, in the same circumstances, with good-looking people, whatever that means, good-looking people will be making more money than the ones who do not look like the others. In the same circumstances, it has nothing to do with sensual or sexual aspects. It is cognitive bias. Why? Because human beings, without even realizing, when we see another human being with a positive characteristic, without knowing it, we know there are more positive characteristics. So if I am interviewing one person for one position and a very good looking person comes, a man, and I am not a gay, it has to do with how the mind works. If I see that person as a very good looking person, it is like one tiny part of my brain saying that person is very handsome. Surely that person is very committed and intelligent, and maybe that person is very responsible. And then when the not that good looking one comes, when I come, there's no internal dialogue. This is why the good looking one is going to be making more. In the same circumstances, this is what cognitive bias does. We act, and we do not even know why. I hope it is clear to you, because there are very, 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 very smart people making decisions no one understands. And one day the person says this, and then a day later it's something else. Apart from the policy of interests, this has to do with what I have said. Summary: we do not see the world; we interpret the world. If you are leaders or chiefs or bosses, I hope you never say again, it was obvious, didn't you say it? That is my own interpretation of reality, but I do not know yours. We are going to make a very quick exercise. If you can take note, do it. So, if not, only react. And I will be showing you photographs, and tell me only one word. Second photo. Photo number 3. Next one. If we had time to review the answers, some of you would say death, fear, things like this. Some of you could say here, love, maternity, or motherhood, things like this. Here, many, many times, people say disgusting death and things like this. And none of that is in the photograph. She's a professional mother. She's not even a mother. She just met this girl, and then it's like an advertising for a kinder. But I see love in it. But if I was mistreated by my mom, this wouldn't be love to me. We do not see the world, we interpret it. And the exercise is, what do you see? Not what you interpret. This is how you play with people. If I want to continue with the dynamic, In a normal class, I teach cybersecurity, and we will be making an exercise, and I will be asking you what you feel, what you see, and what you think about each photograph, so that you can differentiate those processes. And just to reinforce this message, we all interpret the reality. We do not see reality. And there are only dolphins. Do you agree with me? Don't you see dolphins? Yes, we only see dolphins. Who doesn't see the dolphins? I do not know what you see, but look, here we have one dolphin, and this is the tail. This is the mouth of a dolphin, and this is the tail of another one. Here we have the mouth. No, this is the tail, and this is the mouth. Don't you see it? I am playing, so that you see how our minds work. It doesn't matter what it is, and if you show this to adults, most of the adults will see a couple in this erotic stance, because we have the experience of sexual and erotic. And if you show this to small children, they will tell you, are there dolphins or nothing, because they do not have the experience of what is sensual and sexual. So you interpret what you see with what you have inside, and with what you have learned. Now to end, a 2 minute, a 2.5 minute clip. For this next experience, I will need the help of someone. You, do you mind? Could you please come? Sit here. First, I need to know your name, Joanna. Nice to meet you. I do not like to name games, but I name this. Say the room. Help me. Well, let's go to the game. I need you. The first thing I need from you is to answer some questions. The first thing that comes to your mind. Using your common sense. And I will make this test. What color is clouds? What do you see in white?
Y 10 veces ha salido así.
It doesn't work with conditions. But since you're a person with a personality, I will be showing you cards on the table, and you're going to say, that's it. Stop. Sure? Certain? Here? Yes. Yes. I didn't condition. I didn't tell you where to stop. You stop when you wanted me to stop. Here we have 2, 3, all the way to 10. And there's no type of influence, is there? The first and the last. And I 10, 10. And I am telling you this because this is say the moon number 10. Are you sure I haven't influenced you? No, I am not sure you haven't influenced me. This is what marketing tricky marketers do. Hackers, they influence us.
Dije, y un montón de cosas adicionales que no nos da tiempo de explicar.
Using many techniques. We don't have time to explain. An example, a very quick example, influence techniques. Robert Chialini, he is an expert. He invented one word, and his word is persuasion, because I can persuade someone. I need you to make me a favor. I will persuade this person, but I will do it rationally. And maybe he's going to realize, and if I start to bring a chocolate every day, he's going to say, the person is going to decide whether or not he or she will be persuaded, but this is cognitive. And he says that we can influence someone without people even knowing they were influenced. It is like Inception, a film by DiCaprio. This is what he calls persuasion. I can design a situation where we're going to be speaking about something that has nothing to do with what I want, and this is going to happen even before I influence. So, what I will be doing is to prepare my mind with this conversation, with this situation. And then there's going to be a time when I will be asking for what I want, what I need, and your way of thinking has changed. So this is persuasion. He has studied a lot. There are videos of him of how to influence people without people knowing it. And he found 6 principles. He identified these as 6, which are the ones you see in the screen. Human beings like to be reciprocal. We really value what is scarce. We obey authority. We like to be consistent with what we say. And when we feel comfortable, we are very influenceable. And we really care what the others do and what others think about the things we do. This is the evolution, and this is very good to influence someone. For example, reciprocity, but it is not the reciprocity of giving a chocolate every day, because it would be evident. Reciprocity is managed differently, but what I am doing is that one part of your brain is like doing Hector, he made me a favor. Hector, 2 favors, 3 favors, but the thing is that we don't want this to look like a favor, for not to be rational, but this is going to be stay there, and then I can ask for something, and then that non-rational part of the brain is like saying yes, yes, say yes, because we owe him a lot. So this is just one example of the several influencing techniques. And now to close the presentation, and I will give you some final notes. Remember, we are teased by the social hackers because our mind has evolved in a way, in the best way for our species, but it was not designed to be someone in the 21st century in a technological society. So, which are the common elements? This cycle you're about to see is a cycle that a conman uses. Someone who is making calls, one playing with the little balls. A cybersecurity hacker. First, confidence and credibility is going to be produced, and then they will cause an emotion. And you remember that I said that if we act quickly from the emotion, do we think? No, that is exactly the trick. Why? Many calls to ask money from people, to call someone who has children, and the one who calls will never say, look, I have kidnapped your child. What do? What the person hears is a young person or a child suffering and shouting, Dad, someone is beating me. Why does that happen? Imagine if you are parents and if you listen to your child shouting this, what will happen in your mind at that moment is that your cognitive process will practically faint. The only thing you get is to save your child from the emotion, and this is why you can deposit an X number of money, but your child was not kidnapped. There's one case, and I'm sure there are more cases. Someone paying for ransom without even having children. It was such a big emotion that the cognitive process was not enough to remind him or her that we didn't even have a child. So this is what matters the most in hacking and in cybersecurity. We get very excited and we act quickly to act from the emotion. Then why are we going to be doing what the cyber criminal waits from us? This is why it works, because it is not a rational process. It is a very intuitive process. it is below the cognitive processes, and it is going to be faster than the cognitive processes. And this is why, for example, we have the phishing emails, SAT. It is the revenue, the IRS of Mexico, the IRS from the United States. Here it is SAT. I do not know you, but if I get an email, I will be sweating cold, even if I know everything is okay. This is the reason why those emails exist, and I will give you an example. And this is something you will learn with us. Look, this person got an email from the revenue department, and Juan, in this example, if this person is afraid of this email by SAT, and then if you read, there is a balance in favor. Why is it so nice to find a banknote in the washing machine? Why is it so beautiful to find a banknote? Because it is unexpected. We are not expecting to see banknotes in the laundry, in the washing machine. It can be 50 pesos or $10. It is money. You get excited, and a few things will get you as excited as finding money or IRS telling you that there is money for you. And then it asks you to download and directions, and then the person is going to download the file, and this is going to be a virus because it is a fake email, and this is a process criminals use. Everything is very well produced. The email is talking to your emotions, and if I send the IRS email to a Colombian person, the person will not get excited, even if it is in Spanish. And in the case of a North American person, I need to send him an English IRS email. So once you can confirm it is authentic, I will first provoke emotions. First the fear, and then the emotion of something you were not expecting, and since it comes from the authority, I tend to obey the authority, and I will open the email. This is what we teach in cybersecurity to end users, of how your mind is being used, so that you are alert. And this is a summary of the real life. This is what happens, because remember, this is not rational. And sometimes my colleagues say, how come this is happening to users? I have told them to review this and this 500 times, but the thing is that they are not full people. The problem is that they get excited, and the cognitive processes do not remember that they have to review this and this and this, because they will be acting from the emotional side. Remember, for everything is very simplified, and I didn't explain many things, but everything worked together. A good phishing, a good SMS, fake SMS and call will not be working with only one thing. It will be working with my emotions, with my paradigms, with my cognitive biases. It will work with me and my beliefs, prejudices, and with many more things. And the more things I get used, the better, because I will be able to manipulate people. Now, to close, remember, our brain and our body are not designed for this world, and this is why we can't trick things, because it is not. We are not in our natural environment, and all we are more emotional. Even if you have 18 master courses, 15 PH, and 400 certifications in cybersecurity, you can be hacked, you can be manipulated. Someone with enough time and with enough money is going to make your decision-making process to be an emotional decision-making process. So you're going to get tricked. On a good social engineering attack the planning lasted 8 years, because we need to do research of how the mind of the one who is going to be subject to the hack is going to be works. In my case, I am poor, but someone I will not be a research for 8 years, but in the case of others, yes. So remember, even if we're in the rational part, We can also be tricked by our brain because of what I already told you about the cognitive biases. So, what do we do? What do we recommend people? What do you need to do in this world? Not only in cybersecurity, but in general terms in the world, because you can be subject to a fraud in your vacations, in the cyberspace, in the public transport, and sadly, we need to have suspicious about everyone. There's no other way to do it. Now with the deep fakes and with the fake audios, and you have to question. You have to question: is it actually true that Bill Gates woke up and said, "I believe there is a Mexican person who is Hector. I will send him an email." Do you think that is true? If you're wider than a Scandinavian person, are you going to actually believe that you have an aunt in Nigeria that wants to give you $8 million? Question, and for you not to be suffering from paranoia. Yes, suspicious. Question and then verify, and then you will not feel the paranoia if you verify. So I will get a telephone call, I will verify, and then I will be able to take actions. But never forget, as our mothers say, never forget, if someone sounds very good to be true, it will not be true. And why do you believe this? But why don't you believe this when you read an email without even buying a ticket? It is the same. So we need to get used to see this in every aspect of our life. And be careful with manipulation, because the world is getting paralyzed. And the world is polarizing. And we think different things. If I have Facebook, and if I am a white Protestant, what is the world that I see in Facebook? White, Anglo-Saxon, and with Protestant people, and I believe we are the ones with the truth. So influencing techniques are not only for hackers who want to steal something from us, it is also to influence us. And to even legal companies, the social media, they influence us a lot. So I invite you to do some research. This person created a lab, Mr. Frog. Fogg created a very important lab in a famous university, and they were studying how to influence people. And he taught this to big companies. And now he is sorry for that. And in fact, he created a movement, and he said, I need to tell people how they get manipulated, because I taught big companies, and that is not correct. And even in children, teenagers, and young people, they are suffering because of this manipulation. We do not even know what is going to happen to them in 10 years. Another person is Tristan Harris. Look for him in the internet, and he has been doing this. He says how we're influenced not only by bad people, but also by good people. Social media, marketing people who are not that ethical, etc., etc. He has explored this, and there are some interesting presentations by Tristan Harris. And to end, I invite you to please use your common sense. What is bad is that sometimes, as people say, sometimes common sense is the least common of all the senses. But let's try to keep it alive. I hope that after this presentation it is now clear to me. So in summary, we can all be subject to fraud or taste, and this is more an emotional thing, more than rational. It has nothing to do with intelligence. You are a human being. You have to understand, and you have to get trained. If I tell you that I know the operational maintenance manuals of a Boeing 747 that I haven't even piloted, would you trust me? Would you be with me? So theoretical knowledge is not the only thing. It's the first, but you need to live it. You need to get training, and this is why. If you play something, I was a soccer, American football player, and we had to train, and this is very important. And now this is the end of the talk. Thanks so much. I hope it's been interesting and educational. We have only a few more minutes for questions. Great. Let's give him a round of applause. While we wait for the questions, he answered one of my questions. Why is all this money invested in electoral campaigns? I always ask, why all this $1 million? There we have the explanation. While we wait for the question, there is a well-known saying, if it is given for free, then the product is you. If you get something for free, no one is going to be giving you something for free. You will be paying something in exchange. Diana Marrique from Colombia, and I also do cybersecurity. And I really love to see what you just said. Social engineering, yes, is something that we sometimes do not take into consideration, and we never think we're going to be hacked. And now you gave us a great lesson. Now, my question has to do with the three parts of the brain. For to train our brain and to teach not only the technological aspect, we have door people, doorman. Have you been Nick? He's the father of all this. How to work from psychology in order to impact the systems. He died, but what can we do so that we can be part of that culture? And you spoke about the origin and the movie Inception, and they showed how they were training the brain of very wealthy people. It is easier than what it looks, at least in the first stages. The first thing is to be aware of the fact that these mechanisms exist. If you remember the little ball game, if no one tells me what is the trap, I will be believing him, and if someone explains, it will not happen to me again. So first, and you should not be a super scientist. You just saw and the level of awareness to final users, because this is what it matters the most. You are very emotional, and you have to learn that if you feel nervous, afraid, happy, do not make decisions. So if you get an email and you're afraid about it, do not answer, do not click anything. Count till 10. And this silly idea of count to 10, it is great because emotion will be less and your cognitive process in less than 10 seconds. So this is the first thing I will do. And people have to understand it is the way it is, and it is very easy. You just have to give time to your cognitive process. Thanks, since you're an expert on this, what do you think about this theory about the recent power shut outage? What's an attack? It hasn't been documented. And one of the most difficult things in cybersecurity is the attribution. This is how we call it. The attribution is to say who did something. It is very difficult to someone to attribute an attack. Yes, it could have been an attack, but it was not necessary to be an attack. There is lots of information about the misplanning, incorrect planning. But whether or not attack or bad planning, why the doubt? Why the doubt in this context of a human mind? Why do you have this question doubt here? Well, there were many theories around it. That now we have attacks around cybersecurity and whatever is in the cloud. And the impact, people connected to a machine at a hospital, and they didn't have the possibility to keep breathing, but it was an outlier for them to get this information. But I haven't heard about what you just said. That is difficult to do attribution. In this case, it seems to me that it was an error in planning. What is true is that we have seen attacks even among countries. Russia cancel a good part of the power network in the first war, not in the second war in Ukraine. But we do not know if this happened this time. Are there more questions? You see some books. Some of these books have to do with cybersecurity. Others are for parents. Others for regular audience. In case you want to read more. Good afternoon. Nice to meet you. I come from the Technological Innovation Clusters from Costa Rica. Yes, good life in Costa Rica. One question and one thought. To me, the importance of this school and what you were saying, and the urgent need to educate, to legislate, and to train LLMs for not to go through these social engineering processes through technology for abuse or through cyber crimes. For example, something very interesting. You're an expert, and despite of that, we always the need to clarify I am not gay, or that poor people are not being prosecuted because there's nothing to be stolen. Speaking about cybercrime. So, the importance of this joint strategy, technically and socially. Do you have a type of framework you use with companies or organizations in general during the both processes? We are not that elegant and we haven't developed that much to have a framework. What we do is to communicate this and to try to include it in all our cybersecurity programs. But there is no framework, I cannot tell you. Go to this website and then you're going to find our framework where we do this. What we do is project by project. And we have 22 seconds. What do we need to do in order to know what you know? Do we need to be a psychiatrist, a psychologist? What would be the first degree we will need to? To me, it is not technical. To me, neuroscience. You need to, first of all, understand you're a human, others are humans, and that we cannot make mistakes, so that we need to understand each other. And if you ask me what is the academic specialization, psychiatrist and psychologist, yes. But in today's world, very fun things happen. Have you seen the video of a magician? In the last 2 or 3 years, there's been work between neuroscientists and magicians because they have done it in an unstructured, non-academic way for hundreds of years, and they're working together. I have a book that I haven't read about a neuroscientist who became a neuropsychologist and then a psychiatrist and then a magician. Things that have to do with how everything works. I have a very quick question and about the human brain and the machines. What you said about social engineering. In the first OpenAI cases, there was a hacker that told ChatGPT, the first model of ChatGPT, look, my grandma used to read me this, and it was a quote to buy the complete program. And I would like you to please read me more, produce more tales on ChatGPT. And then there was selling of that material. So there was social engineering, but with the machine. So can this happen to AI agents in the future? Machines trying to deceive other machines. Once we have actual AI, the truth is that you will not be able to tell if it is a human or if it is a machine. We haven't reached that. At least this is what we human beings know. We do not know what the army people are doing. Maybe they have actual AI. We do not know that. We normally know what the army does 25 years after they do things. We do not know it now, but if I talk to someone, regular person, and LBBBs and all those things are not intelligence, as intelligent as we are. Those are very complex systems, but statistics only. So what you're doing is to feed a statistical model with what the humans say. So the model learn how to simulate how humans think, and if you are humane, and if the other one learn, you can create the rules. And there are some people who would say you did social engineering to the LLMS, but I would say you did social engineering to the designer of the LLMS. Is there an ethical limit in this type of manipulation in marketing? Have someone thought about this, or are we simply victims of manipulation? And Mr. Hall, Christian Harris, and even me, at my level, what we are trying to do, while others legally and ethically decide what is good and what is not good, I believe all human beings will have an intrinsic ethics. I do not need to have a law telling me that I should not do bad things. So while the legislations reach an agreement, let's teach person let's teach this to people, because it is education for this and for many other things. We don't want children to beat each other. We don't want them to be racist. And but yes, there is a strong discussion about ethics. Where's the ethics of a company using all this knowledge to have me captive in a social media during 5 hours? And many of us say this is not ethical. To me, companies, to maximize benefits and to be recognized, they can use all these tools. I would not say it seems that. Well, I wanted to be kind. Let's give him a round of applause. Very interesting.